protectmyregion.com here on another episode of the New Jersey Cannabis Podcast. I'm your host, Joey J. Ping. We've got a couple special guests today, man. Some people that I'm really excited to have on the show today. I mean, there's some exciting moves going on, you guys. I'm with the two partners, the founders. We got Ed and Tom of Fire and Oak, a dispensary in a super historic town in New Jersey, y'all. Like, you guys got to understand, the East Coast has history that the West Coast could never have. It's older. It's a little bit more industrial and warehousey. You know what I'm saying? It's old buildings with so much culture. And it's cool because you guys came together, man, and are doing something in your town. We got a great conversation scheduled for you guys today. Everybody, this is episode 2 of the New Jersey Cannabis Podcast. Again, I'm Joey J. Ping. Our sponsor today is Seedless Media, a full-service cannabis marketing agency that specializes in retail, SMS, all a bunch of cannabis marketing stuff that is huge for growing revenue. But this episode isn't about them. This episode is about Fire and Oak. It's about you, Ed. It's about you, Tom. So thank you guys. Good morning, good afternoon. I know you guys we're transcontinental right now. We got West Coast, East Coast coming together. How are you guys living today? How's it going? How was the week?
Pretty good. I'm glad it's Friday. TGIF.
I hear that. How you doing, Ed? What's the word?
I'm good, man. Friday, Saturday, that's the big retail days, right? So for us, weeks are ending. For other folks, for retail, that's the weeks are starting, kind of.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the first half of Sunday is huge days in cannabis retail, especially when you think about through the summer and as we approach Black Friday, right?
Yep.
Getting into the holiday season, this is the biggest retail season of them all, man.
Black Friday, Green Wednesday.
It's going to be fun, man. And you guys are a couple of smokers. When I was out there, right, for the North American Weed Tour about almost 2 months ago now, you guys were showing me a bunch of great products. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about your story, you guys individually and also together. We're going to talk about creating and getting, creating this brand, getting licensed, the build out, the damn cameras, the city and the compliance, all the stuff that goes in. It's not easy doing what you guys have done, man. It's taken years and years of time, relationship. You had to spend a bunch of money to get started. It's just how it goes, right? Cannabis is not easy.
Yeah. Right. No, for sure, man. It's been a long journey. I mean, we got this building. It's a historic building, but 2.5, almost 3 years ago.
Right.
And it took a while, right? The whole licensing process. Everyone who's listening, who's ever been any part of the licensing process knows it takes a long time, especially when cities just trying to open up and then trying to figure out what to do. It takes a while to convince them. It takes a while to help them understand. It takes a while to work with them, get through the process. Then you go to the state and, there's a lot of layers there that you got to get through to get licensed at the state level. It may not be the most complicated thing in the world for folks who've done it before, but it takes time, man, and time means money, right? So
it's time, it's money. I mean, I can't tell you guys how many people I've spoken to where they had to, they rented this place out for months or in some cases a year in the East Coast, right?
Oh, more, man.
Just to be able to get the application
in a couple years, so for sure.
Paying years of rent just to get the application to be able to be submitted, to get the good score for the application.
Yeah.
Like so much that goes into it. And so today I want to talk to you guys about some specific things. But first I want to make sure we set the table. You guys are the partners of a dispensary in a super historic town in New Jersey. It's like 45 minutes or an hour from Philly, right?
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes from Philly, kind of depending on where you're at in Philly. About 40 minutes from Philly, maybe an hour and a half from New York, and then 40 minutes from the beach, depending on where you're at.
New Jersey is a uniquely shaped state, and it's got interesting geography because you've got New York, you've got Newark, you've got Philly, and then you've got Atlantic City, which is like this old rundown Vegas experience.
And that's where I used to hang out back in the day. So
I'm saying, hey, this is me saying it, right? Like I've only been there to party and do cannabis stuff. I spend my money, I have a good time, but it's like a rundown Vegas. But it's cool because there's this culture, like. I don't know if I told you this, but like on that trip, I literally went and stood outside the Hard Rock there in AC, and I stood in the same place my mom took a photo when she was 17.
There you go.
And so just to be able to do things like that, it goes back to that history, to these chapters and eras of America that sometimes are forgotten. Sometimes they kind of get old and left behind, or they just get worn down or weathered, right? But what's cool about you guys is that you're in between New York and Newark and Philly, and people in that region, they hang out in all those places. So you guys have traffic going by, you guys have restaurants around you got these cute little coffee shops, and you guys have this building that is incredibly old. And can you tell me about the history of your building? Because I remember you guys being so proud of what you guys have turned it into, coming from where that building has been through.
Yeah, I mean, I think the building was initially built in the 1800s, like mid to late 1800s. Matter of fact, one of the beams is still there. It's visible. You got the guy who built the building, wrote his name on like a piece of it. And then when the building was retrofitted back in 2018, before we got it, the guy kind of left that and left it as kind of a piece to be able to see and for people to be able to visualize. But yeah, it was actually kind of like an old house, and then it's had a lot of lives. This building, I think it was a doctor's office or a dentist at one point. Right before we got it, it was like a wine tasting room bar thing.
Don't forget, we had this one woman come in who grew up in town ages ago. She said, I think it used to be a trap shop too, like decades and decades ago. She said she bought weed from somebody who lived there. So, and not only that, there's like spirits, because apparently Mount Holly was a big battleground town too, a long time ago during the wars. So she said, there's a whole witch thing going on in town, and there's a lot of people that walk around. They see, we feel the energy, we feel the spirits. Your building's got, I don't know what the building's got, but there's stuff in there too.
Hey man, it sounds like there's some free security there for you guys.
Yeah, going into that basement is a little scary sometimes.
That's what's crazy though, right? Because you go into some of these cannabis markets. This is why I was really excited to talk with you guys, is because a dispensary is a dispensary if it just took over a fucking old gas station. If it just took over some Payless Shoes plaza. You know what I mean? That ain't there's no culture to that at that point.
Yeah.
What makes some parts of North America and just other regions around the world interesting is culture. And Mount Holly has a unique small town culture, old buildings, this like sleepy creek and a bridge right by you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said that there's wars and stuff and there's spirits, right? Bro, I parked in that parking lot when I visited you and walked around. Remember? I told you, I was like, I parked behind over here. And I'm like, yo, I feel like I'm in like one of those like groves, those grassy areas where it's like they were shooting muskets and stuff.
Like, they were, dude. They were. This was like George Washington, like some OG Americana stuff here, like across the river to Philadelphia, and there's a whole bunch of that whole colonial thing, and that's a big component for us, is really trying to like bring our own vibe, but really integrate into like what the community has to offer, and the building itself lends itself to being able to do that. Like the
inside's literally a beautiful oak. You have beautiful dark rich wood fixtures, displays, counters. I asked you, Tom, hey, are you sitting in the store right now, or are you in a back office? Because remember that table area just to the right on the inside? Where what was the gentleman's name? The New Jersey Santa?
Oh, Rick. Jersey Santa? Rick?
Yeah, that gentleman, right? That's where I met him there. Like, sitting when I sat at that table, bro, I felt like I was sitting there with people, and there was nobody sitting there with me. You know what I mean?
Hey. Yeah, it's hopefully they're good spirits.
It's the weed spirits. It's the spirit of Mary Jane. You know what I'm saying? It's Cheech and Chong's future selves. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to pivot the conversation a little bit, because this is all fun and the culture and stuff is great, but this is about cannabis, you guys. This is about adult use cannabis. Your guys' stories, the struggles it took for you to get here, to build this beautiful location, and to offer these premium cannabis products. And so we've set the table. You're in an old colonial town. There's witches and spirits potentially. And this lady that's lived there for decades bought weed from somebody there a long time ago. That's fucking cool. But your guys' business is operating within a series of legal systems and regulations that's not easy. And so I want to know about you guys. Where did you guys meet? How did this partnership come together? And what skills do each of you individually bring to make this such a successful situation?
Tommy,
I'll let Ed go.
No. You go, man. Come on now.
Yeah, so basically we're both from the East Coast. Ed's from Brooklyn, I'm from New Jersey, and we both happen to be out in California kind of as cannabis was really becoming more mainstream around the time when like Prop 64 was coming together and stuff. I started going out there after I graduated school. I'd kind of already gotten in trouble in the legal system here for messing around with weed, selling weed or whatever, and moved out to California, started in Humboldt, did a little growing up there, then moved down, and that was right around, by that time it was around kind of Prop 64, and then did some licensing compliance stuff, and then ended up working at MedMen super briefly, and that's where Ed and I met over there. I was there for all of like 2 months before I decided to join a group of operators that I helped get licensed and help them build that business out in California. But Ed and I remained, friends and in contact and everything. So, we were always looking at East Coast things. And then a few years went by. It was starting to be like 2020, 2021. And I was like, dude, I'm really trying to do some New Jersey shit, and started making the decks and looking at real estate and doing all that jazz, trying to, drum up the support from like local, figures in different towns that we were looking at. And, then Ed was like, hell yeah, I'm in, let's do it. And so, and then in 2021, we dropped some money on a lawyer. And that was kind of like, that's when we say we really started the journey into New Jersey. 2021, we paid our first big retainer to the lawyer and started hitting the ground running, and we're looking for properties. And took us until about February of 22. I think we identified this property. July of 22, we got our resolution and closed on the property, and then we finally opened in January of this year. Been quite a journey.
I mean, there's this interesting, reading between the layers. You have this unique balance of street experience. That's real life, right? Where you're from, where you live, where you grew up, East Coast. Then you come out and you do the Cali shit, Prop 215, it sounds like, and then bleeding into Prop 64, which for those people that don't know on the East Coast, Prop 215 is, we'll call it era 2, maybe era 3 of medical cannabis in California. And that was the one that was the fucking Wild West. That was the one. 215 is the Wild West. That's pounds getting shipped, people growing 100 plants at their house. That is more weed than people need. That was that era. Now, when 215 and 64, that's 64 is adult use in Cali. When that happens, then that becomes no one knows the rules, because they operated for 10 years the other way, and now it's new rules. No one knows. So you have this unique blend of street, trap, traditional market, East Coast. You get into medical, and there's a system. It might have been the Wild West, but there was a system, right? There was retailers, there was cards, there was some form of taxation and things happening.
Yeah, people paying taxes on a super illegal program, right?
Right. It was the craziest.
It was the craziest thing. I got to drop a bag of cash, and it's super illegal. But you'll take my money though. Okay, cool.
Wild. And then to finish it up with Tom, then MedMen.
Right.
Even though brief, if you look at cannabis and this first, we'll say 2017, Washington, Colorado, Oregon, California starts all becoming legal. MedMen was the most corporate for 5 to 6 to 7 years. Pre MSOs like GTI and True Leave and all the Cure Leaves. It was MedMen was the one that looked like Target, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, they were one of the first big.
Remember those campaigns, those fucking billboards and the photos?
Yeah. It'd be like
it looked like advertisements in the SeaTac airport. You know what I mean? They just looked like advertisements in an airport. But the good thing was MedMen pushed the stigma and did change it with that corporate money. All that investment money that they took and burned through, they did it, and they did change the stigma in a lot of ways. Now, Ed, you guys linked at MedMen. Walk me through, set the story for you. How did you get there?
Yeah.
What was that whole situation like for you? Because you're the West Coast boy here.
For sure, man. Listen, I also, Tom, don't leave out the fact that you worked and we're one of the few founding people, one of the largest outdoor grows in Lake County. So you have a lot of hands-on
Shout out Lake County.
Lake County.
Yeah, you did kind of gloss over your cultivation experience.
Tommy, maybe not a cultivator, but definitely paid his dues for sure, man. He paid his dues up north. So
should we rewind back to that and let you touch base on that?
I mean, I don't want to put things out there. Like, I wasn't a grower, but I did help build the business. I was more on the business side. I started off on the growing side in Humboldt, did that for a season and really loved it. Wanted to keep proceeding on the grow side, but kind of in the name of chasing money and career, I kind of pivoted more to operations, compliance, licensing, and then found a group of guys that, they were on the traditional market. They had experience in agriculture. We became friends when I, met them and, helped them build that business and, really build out the infrastructure. Granted, and it was one of those things where, help them build the business.
Like many businesses, business is tough, man. Business is
tough.
Right?
There's a team of people when it comes to the business, the cultivation, as you mentioned, the infrastructure, all these things that there's a lot of people that
you got to be like this. You got to be like this, right? For any business, it's capital intensive, timing, money, and then just people's involvement. Like Tom and I, the only reason we're doing our thing in Fire and Oak because Tom and I put in a lot of hours. Like, we're owners, and I know I'm remote, but we're putting in tons of hours, and we're friends, and we agree and we disagree. But you know what? That's how business works. At the end of the day, you got to find a way to move forward. So, I mean, we met at MedMen. I was at MedMen for like 2.5 years. I come from East Coast. I was in regulations, kind of my career, but more on the finance side. And honestly, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't impact any change, right? Because the financial sector's been around for a really long time. So to move a comma, it takes forever. And I came upon the opportunity at MedMen, and I remember walking into and I want to make this a MedMen interview. I walked into it, but it was the hype of cannabis. It was a start. It was before California went rec. I remember walking into that tiny office before they blew up, when it was small, and the energy was just crazy. And and I
they
understood
weren't wrong, man. That energy
wasn't better or worse. They're going to be
the core group of people was like just so driven and so motivated. And I saw an opportunity where I could take my expertise on the regulatory side and hopefully make some change, right? Understanding, like, I understand business. I have a business background, and I'm like, okay, well, I can take the business sense and apply it to regulations, which are very often not business friendly. Mm-hmm. So work with a bunch of people, try to make some change, and then also apply those regulations to help business along, right? So that's kind of what we do here, right? So long story, I was there. I continued in the industry. I did consulting. I got a lot of experience working with a lot of different operators all up and down the supply chain with a heavy focus on retail. And I work with some amazing, amazing partners, big operators, small operators. Prefer the small operators, honestly, because A, they're more fun, and B, you really do learn a lot from them, because they're
struggles,
like, hey,
and challenges.
Yeah, because you know what, you become like you become their confidant, you become their friend. Yeah, you're helping them, and yeah, you're kind of on the regulatory side, but you become a lot more to them than just that, right? They rely on you on a lot of different things. And you know what? And I took that, and, Tom and I started this journey, and, we do have a little bit of a leg up on some folks in terms of our experience from just purely licensing and operations and regulatory side, right? Yeah, maybe I never ran retail in cannabis, but, kind of the nuts and bolts of it, we knew. So we took that and we went to Mount Holly, and I see someone's asking, like, why Mount Holly? Is because, the building was awesome. It really sold us right away. The township, I remember first time I went there, I'm like, I love this town. This is amazing. Like you said, you walk around, and I'm from a big town. I grew up in Brooklyn, then I moved to LA, and I've never really been in small towns. And every time I go and I go often, it's amazing. I just absolutely love it. And the people were super welcoming. Like, we integrated very quickly into the community. You got the coffee shops, you got the diner, you got the bars, you got
that pizza spot.
The pizza spot is dope. Yeah. And there's another one like 10 minutes down. And man, every time I come out from the West Coast, I can't. I'm just like, I'm just downing pizza like nonstop. Pizza and bagels, man.
You know, it's funny. I've been talking myself and one other individual, aka the Slice. Abel, right? Slice God. Shout out Abel. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
We were talking mad shit about the food in New Jersey, but the reality is that the best food we did have was in Mount Holly at that pizza spot. Real quick, low key, it was kind of funny.
There's an ice cream shop, Vince's. First of all, the guy is just an outstanding guy, but the ice cream is insane. And my guy, he closes for like 4 months out of the year. He takes off. This
is like a second career for him. So he does it.
It was funny because like as soon as you thought of him, you lit up. So he must.
Oh my God, he's just such a warm, nice man, and he runs a great business. But his ice cream is just another level. So
there we go.
Anyone listening, you're gonna come through Mount Holly, stop by Far Oak, but hit up the local shops, man. They got
that's a big component too for us. Like we're really big on like cross promoting and working with other local businesses. Obviously, it's difficult to work necessarily with other local cannabis businesses if they're retailers, but on the other hand of that, like we do work with a lot of other local businesses to promote their business, do a lot of cross promotions with, like Ed was mentioning, kind of the coffee shops and bars and restaurants, and have really good, really good relationships with those folks. And I think it's something that helps our business.
You actually live in that area, Tom. I do.
I live there now.
You're running it all the time.
Yeah. We made the commitment when we wanted to go here. This is the first shop we opened. We really wanted to be, close by. So I live down the road, not in the shop, but pretty much down the road.
You're not upstairs in one of with the spirits hanging out.
I could.
Hey, man, while we were building it out, that's where I used to sleep. I used to sleep upstairs when I used to come visit.
No, I remember you guys took us up there and showed us around. I don't think we went in the basement. I don't remember, but I definitely remember. I grew up in Indiana, and there's some old ass towns in Indiana where I grew up, and walking up to your building takes you back mentally. The smells, that stream, the grass, the trees, that warm air, that breeze. It took me right back to being in those towns where I grew up, and even thinking about it now, it's making the hair stand up on my back.
Like nostalgia getting on here.
It is, man. No, it's a real thing. And like when you have an experience that induces emotion and feeling and real bodily reactions like that, I think that's different, and that's what makes it special. And so I wanted to take some time. I actually have your guys' website pulled up because talking about the building and talking about the oak and the things, it's just not enough. And so I got to share the screen real quick. I got your website pulled up. Let me go ahead and pull it up for the people real quick, because at least we'll still be able to talk. But I want, walk me through. This is that initial showroom floor area in your store, right? And you guys can see, I know it's a little tough to see, but it's dark, rich oak like that with these wide open display cases. There's that table I was talking about where people are looking at me when no one's inside, right? But the overall, the entire experience in your guys' store was phenomenal. I mean, here's again looking through. This is what the building looks like on the outside, you guys. This was 4 months ago posted. I mean, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. We talk about the colonial structure and just building style. I mentioned it's on a bridge right on top of a stream. It's a vibe. Look at this, right?
Yeah, no, that's like I said, it's a big thing. We get a lot of people that come in that ask us or mention that part of the draw for sure was just that they've always driven by the building. Half of our employees probably reached out to us without prior to even posting any job listings, just trying to be like, hey, I saw the dispensaries coming to this building. I always drove past the building or, thought the building was really cool and I wanted to reach out. So that was kind of cool too. Like I said, we found,
there's my guy, Tom. His model
there he is.
Right
there. We can glaze past that one.
Come on. No, but I mean, yours are saying, I mean, look at this. This is what it looks like on a dreary, regular day in New Jersey, right? It sits in there in the community. It's welcoming. There's a whole parking lot just to the right of this image. Right in this area here. There's a massive parking lot that we were there. We counted over 30 cars in the parking lot when we were there on a busy day. And I mean, again, you look inside and it just has this such a luxurious but chill feel. It's what did you guys call it? It was like a boutique. Look at this. Look at this. Right, beautiful right here.
Yeah, the guy that renovated the building, he built that table. He wanted to take it with him. We're like, nah, man, we're keeping that.
Absolutely incredible, man. I really enjoyed my experience there with you guys. Now, I want to chat a little bit about your vendors, about your partners, some of these other exhibitors. Right, we're 25 minutes into the episode. We've talked a lot about you guys and the building and the story, and that's great. Right, this is cool. You guys are wonderful people. The store is beautiful, but if you don't have good weed, or if it's not priced right, you're not going to be around a long time. And so you
Yeah,
guys,
no,
as
for sure. We
curators,
definitely have we definitely have some relationships with different vendors that
Mhm.
we work with, and have been lucky enough to develop relationships, whether it was some operators we were familiar with from the West Coast, and then some people that came over here. But yeah, really, I think obviously, like, we can't really be anything if we don't have good people to buy flower from or products
right?
from. We're big on that. We do consume. Obviously, neither of us. I'm in the shop, can't really legally consume here, but yeah, I mean, like I said, we're big on that. Clade Nine's a big partner of ours. Dave and
Yep.
his team have been really supportive, and we've been able to kind of work out some good things with them in the town. And like I said, just be able to put out like really quality products. That's big for us. Like I said, we kind of really emphasize being able to high quality products, good value, good price points. I mean, we think that's important. We want to be able to supply, customers with the stuff that they're looking for, the stuff they want,
Yep.
and the best stuff that New Jersey has to offer. So
For New Jersey, by New
Yeah.
Jersey, curated,
Yeah.
focus on New Jersey.
Yeah, and
I mean,
it's been nice because we have vendors who are New Jersey only, and then we have folks who, like Tom said, like Clay, they come from other states and they do their thing. And listen, you put out good product, you're putting out good product, right? So we try to we try to build that relationship, but we also want to offer multiple prices, right? So you're not everything's up here, right? Because customers, there's a lot of price sensitivity in the market, right? Economy aside, the demographic of every town is different, and the demographic of Mount Holly is as diverse as it can get, right? So we do offer products in different tiers, but I'm sure, like most people know, right? Sometimes the tiers not always, right? It could be mixed light, right? It's not going to be indoor. But honestly, there's some really great operators like Anthology, which is also MPX. They don't necessarily price like maybe a higher end, like top selling flower brand, but their flower is like their flower is fire, man. There's one of their favorite strains that I like is from them. So I think we have everything for everyone. And the cool part about the shop is we got a bud bar, right? One of the pictures they showed, it was empty when we took that picture, but now there's sniffer jars there, which, is starting to make its way into the New Jersey market, but not a lot of shops have that because it is like operationally and just, keeping it fresh and working with the vendors and putting good weed in there is not the easiest thing to do. So we try to keep that fresh. Tom's our local sommelier of weed, so he decides what goes in there.
Now you guys had some really good recommendations when I was out there, man. I would say that the top two in the store, and I don't think that this is disrespect to any of the other brands. I just know I'll speak to what I know based on what I smoked. Hands down, Garden Green and Clade 9. There's just no questions asked.
I think
for the
right
state
now
of New
they're
Jersey, from a quality standpoint, I think they're both setting the bar for the state. Big respect to Garden Greens and Golden State Banana for their collaboration. And for what is just happening between that collaboration and what's being grown in their facility.
I mean,
133,000 square foot facility. Video
huge.
coming soon of Fire and Oak times Clade 9. You guys, I haven't told you this. I've been holding on to it. We just about ready for that video to come out of our tour with you guys, with that bud bar fully stocked with these heaters that we're about to talk about, and these two that I just talked about. And then also too, we did take a tour of Clade 9. They had about, I want to say 40 or so thousand square foot built out. I could be wrong on that, but they definitely had flower. It was popping. Dave comes from growing weed currently. I grow 20 miles away in South Central California, literally in the not so great areas of LA. No disrespect to those people there. It's rough. It's tough. And to grow weed there and to grow weed here, it's not easy. And he grows phenomenal weed. So phenomenal, in fact, that I will let people know that Respect My Region's weed at one point my best selling strain, the best selling product we ever had, we were building that off of Dave's Private Reserve OG.
Yeah.
Which is
that sells well.
Which is an identical profile from a cannabinoid standpoint to the Marathon OG. Where's my guy? Hold on. Where's my guy? Nip? I got Nipsey over here somewhere.
There he is. There he is.
There he is. So, point being, Clade 9 grows phenomenal weed here, and it grows phenomenal weed over there with y'all. And they're definitely top 2 or top 3 in that state. Now, you mentioned Anthology. I don't remember the strain that I smoked. I know it's on our YouTube reviews already, but that was also very impressive. And then you had a couple other local brands there. Can you touch base on some of the other local brands that were not Anthology, Clade 9, and Garden Greens?
So there's a few that are coming online. Obviously, it's the process takes a while, so there's slowly rolling some out. We get a lot of stuff from Onyx, Sussex Cultivation. They're a smaller kind of craft manufacturer. They're putting out both hydrocarbon products and some solventless stuff.
Nice.
They have really nice products. Their branding, their marketing, their packaging is nice. They're definitely a smaller
Hamilton's
one.
a nice one too. Hamilton, shout out to those guys. They put out some really good flower, and they
shout out to Hamilton. Yeah, really small canopy. Have some interesting genetics they're running. It's not the typical strain names that you always see, which is for some people I like it, some people don't. But I think they're using compost teas. So they're putting out some nice stuff, some tasty stuff, some stuff with good terps, and it's been really well received in the market. I think they're really focusing on quality, which is important. A lot of people I think are a little too got too many of the finance people looking at the spreadsheets trying to say it's you can't do this or can't do that, and ultimately, I think they're really trying to emphasize quality and then let the business speak.
Most of these are flower brands. What are some of your top or favorite edibles and vape companies in your store? Because those are the other 2 big categories, right? 3 categories, pre-rolls too, right?
Sure.
So it's like vapes and edibles wise. Can you talk to a little bit about the categories there from a New Jersey standpoint, or at least what you have curated for us in your store?
Yeah, do you want to go?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, edibles is, it's an interesting category, right? Because you have a lot of national players in Jersey already, and you got some other ones coming in, and those sell really well. Like, honestly, the Wanas, and Wana's one of the OG brands, right? And everybody loves the Wanas, and they have some really interesting, unique products like quick onset, things like that, which not a lot of brands go into the nanotech, right? So they're more traditional process, standard onset and ratios. But then you have vendors like Grun, right?
Grun.
Those are good. Those are interesting. The people are amazing to work with. The great partners, very easygoing, and they have a very limited offering, but they have interesting ratios and things that no one else really offers in terms of the cannabinoid mix. So I think they could really stand out, but it's tough for a smaller operator, right? It's tough to compete in a marketing budget of a Kiva, or Caminos, which is another great brand. We carry them, but they're a much bigger national company with a big reach. So those also go really well. I mean, personally, I like Grun. I've been participating in Caminos for a long time, so I know what I'm getting at all times. They're very, you're always getting the same thing with them. Their formulations are good. Wanas are amazing. Flavor-wise, Wanas great. The quick onset, big fan, right? You know what you're getting right away. And the way we try to do things, right? We try to work with a smaller population of operators. A lot of folks in more mature markets, they're like, okay, I'm going to have tons of SKUs, right? It gets hard to tell your customer or even as an employee to understand, okay, why should I recommend this one over this one, right? So we really try to curate a more limited menu, but a quality menu. So we only carry 4 or 5 edible brands. And, every now we'll expand, try something new, maybe cycle something out. But we really try to, on the edible side, to keep it limited. On the vapes, I mean, our vapes, we're waiting, and Tom talks to this, we've been having a conversation. We're waiting for a couple of vape brands to come online. So we haven't really brought other ones on just for the sake of it. There's a couple of really cool brands, some local, some that even Tom knows personally from like childhood, like in terms of connections. We're really excited for these folks to come on board. Hopefully in the next, maybe 1 to 2 months, we'll get some really cool brands. I mean, Tom, if you want to talk about Bliss and
we're hoping to really excited for a launch with Blisco and Wonder Brett.
Nice.
They got a facility like 10 minutes from our shop here, and
wow.
Just in the last couple of months built a really nice partnership with their New Jersey operators, and really looking forward to introducing their products. As you can see, kind of a big staple of ours is we do like to introduce a lot of the California stuff that's come east, that there are different operators that are out here. And then I'll obviously also embrace some of the smaller, operators that are just like, mom and pop, like the Hamilton Farms guys and stuff. On the vape side, we're pretty big on, Fernway's a East Coast brand. Their stuff does really well for us. Legend. And there's a couple other, like I said, Sussex. We buy a lot of stuff from them. Sussex and the Onyx brand. Like I said, they're the smaller operator. I think doing things the right way, putting out high quality products. Good inputs in, good inputs out.
Right.
And really putting some fire products on our shelves.
I think building a menu with strong partners that actually spend time in the community or at the location, or just do things on their own without having to be asked. I think that those are some good green flags to look for. Obviously,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm happy that you guys continue to to do some cool collaborations. Right? You guys have that exclusive with Clade 9 for the city. So anybody that wants California OG or like 4 to 8 OGs all in one strain, Clade 9 is like the best at that. The Diamond Dust, the Diamond Bar, the Fig Bar, the
some
Private
good
Reserve.
sativas too.
Come on, man.
Love the J1. Love the
J1.
Oh.
He's got that G13.
The LA Piff.
The LA Piff. He got the Orange Push Pop, right? Those are all phenomenal.
People love that one.
From them, man. I love that orangey weed as well. I know a lot of people hate the orangey weed, but he got a good one. It's got that orange sour candy taste, this creamy gassiness on it. It's just good. He does great work. And the Garden Greens guy, that got that wonderful super lemon haze. I think I remember smoking an Obama Runts from them. They got good product.
No, they do. They're putting out good stuff. Like I said, we try to really source some quality product, and like I was mentioning, kind of variety of price points. But really, really big emphasis on, we like to stand behind all the products we're going to put on our shelves. So if it's not something that we would encourage people to buy, then we're probably not even going to carry it. But yeah, excited for a couple other new operators to come online. And to your point, it's all about like, what are you guys doing on your end to really like get your name out there, produce the best product, market yourself, market your product. Obviously we value the partnerships we have with other operators, and we really try to, cross promote and market their products individually. But, that's a big thing too. They need to obviously be able to, put their, best foot forward and, have a little bit of a marketing budget to really get the name out there. It's becoming, New Jersey's newer market for sure, but definitely now we're starting to get more brands in, developing a little bit more, like settling into its own place. So it'll be interesting to see how things kind of, roll out in the next 6 to 12 months.
Talking about the future, what does that look like for you guys? What do you guys have in the works? Is there you guys just, head down, shoulders down, running through the competition, just trying to grind it out, man, beast mode, or what?
It's all of that. All of that. It's, look, this thing is, and, talking to folks who want to be in the industry or folks who want a retail license, none of this is easy, right? Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. You're not guaranteed anything, right? You may think you have the best location, but until you open, you have no idea, right? So I think the kind of assessing where you are and what you're going to do, what your potential revenue can be, is very important for ultimate success, because we are hearing a lot of different things in the industry, man, right? Shakeouts happen regularly. So for us, honestly, head down, just manage our business, just try to get those good vendors, the good relationships, keep the customer interactions positive, make sure employees are motivated, make sure the employees are happy, right? And then because that all leads into just your customers being happy and your customers coming back. In terms of future plans, You know, man, if we had a genie in a bottle, we could wish for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Look, we love the brand that we were able to establish, right? We have a particular way that we approach retail. And if we can replicate this elsewhere in New Jersey, I think that'd be awesome. If we find that right fit, so that's not out of the question. But
If
the
anybody's
main
got
thing
a
is,
creepy old building that's beautiful.
yeah, man, let's find it. Give me another ghost-filled building.
Find
We'll get
mahogany wood inside of it,
Right. Yeah, I mean, like that's a
Exactly.
big thing. Like, not just that in terms of the type, but for us, it's a smaller footprint in a good location. Like that's a big tenet of
efficiency,
ours.
right?
Like,
There's no need to overspend and go
exactly.
big. Efficiency
No.
is what this retail game is all about.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what we did here,
Like
right?
I
I
said.
know you kind of opened it with that, right? We did, I think, a pretty solid job in terms of keeping costs as low as possible and working with what we have within the building. And that's one of the reasons we've been successful, is that this wasn't like, $5 million build and you'll never crawl out of that. It was very, very low key, like as low key as possible. Like you hit up your network and be like, hey man, hook me up. Hey man, hook me up. What can you do? Let's figure this out. I'll get you on something else later, right? I'll spend my time. I'll help you out. You hook me up here, right? So it's really hitting that network and trying to figure out how everyone can benefit, right? You can't be a taker all the time, right? That's what Tom is saying. We're really big on relationships, right? You cultivate a relationship with people over time. You give to them, and then you hope that one day it comes back to you, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's how we've been able to be successful in the shop.
Some really solid game there for those of you guys watching, man. Today is episode 2 of the New Jersey Cannabis Podcast, brought to you guys by See This Media. I've got the homies Ed and Tom, Fire and Oak Dispensary. We showed you guys the photos on their Google profile. We showed you guys their website. Make sure you guys tap in, search Fire and Oak. You can search the and sign. You can write out the word and. Either way, it comes up. Make sure you guys tap in. For the vendors that are out there that's trying to get into different stores, Tom and Ed are your guys to reach out to. Tom is actually in Jersey, so a person to probably come connect with in the store. But be respectful of his time and come freaking prepared, man. You know what I'm saying? As a sales rep that has solid relationships with people that are dope, make sure you guys come in and you guys actually have studied the menu. Simple to look it up, do your research, understand where you get in. And also, as he just said multiple times throughout the episode, they are looking for people that are trying to do things with them and trying to participate on things and partner with them on stuff. So it's as easy as that. Show up and participate in those things and bring a good product at a good price, not some craziness. And for those of you California brands that are out there that are trying to be in New Jersey, sounds like you guys are behind the ball if you're not already out there. There's a lot of groups out there, man. I saw some solid products, a lot of good MSOs from some cool people, some cool multi-state brands. I liked the local operators. Again, Mount Holly was a wonderful place. I really appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for joining me today. Do you guys have anything that you'd like to leave the people with before we get you out of here?
No, come and check out Mount Holly. We're here on 5 Washington in Mount Holly. So, come check us out.
Come on, baby.
And,
let's go.
Let's go. Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for watching episode 2 today, brought to you guys by See This Media, cannabis industry's full-service premier marketing agency, SMS, loyalty, Google, programmatic ads, SEO, you name it, they do it. I chose them because they got a lot of clients and they do great work, and some of those clients used to be mine. So big shout out to my partners and sponsors in that regard. And thank you guys for working with us on the North American Youth Tour. You guys, you never know what can happen. LinkedIn brought us together, and we're going to stay tapped in going forward, man.
All right, man. Appreciate